Hi everyone, I just want to make a quick mention that I recorded the next several episodes prior to coronavirus pandemic. I know that it's a tough time for all of us. I do hope that you'll find time to relax and hopefully get a sense of normality by watching my weekly episodes. And in the meantime, be safe and stay healthy. In light of coronavirus pandemic, I just want to let you know that you probably are encountering the budget shift and the headcount reduction, and also you need to change your marketing plan. I totally understand all that. My episode still applied to the current situation. So if you can watch the whole episode, I have something to share with you at the end. Hey, welcome to another episode of B2B Marketing and More with Pam Didner, me. Today, I actually have a question coming from Queenie, and she lives in Hong Kong. And she said, what is your take on outsourcing the content writing versus getting a copywriting in-house? And I want to answer that question in a much broader term, which is the in-source versus outsource. And in this episode, I want to touch on three things: the pros and cons of in-source versus outsource, and a couple of the key elements you need to take into consideration to determine which approach that you should take. And number three, say if you outsource, what are some of the things you need to pay attention to? Let's talk about the pros and cons of in-house versus outsource. Obviously, for in-house, there's many benefits. One is you actually have a total control. You have in-house team members that are doing your marketing campaigns or creative. You have a total control, and also there's a transparency. You know what is done. On top of it, if the in-house team members are doing it, they actually tend to have more in-depth product knowledge and understand your services so much better. Another benefit is a lower risk of confidentiality breach, right? Because everybody signed an NDA agreements, they know what to share, what not to share. The disadvantage of it, obviously, is it takes much longer time to actually complete the task. Given that, everybody have something to do, they all have different priorities, they will take time to actually complete your task. And the skill set that people have within the team tend to be much broader, not necessarily specialized. Another thing is, if people have been with your team or your company for a long time, you know what, they may not have the industry experience that you are looking for to write specific type of content or run specific type of campaigns. And another thing is, if they are doing some of the technical works, obviously it's taking away times from them to do strategic work for the company. So that's the pros and cons in terms of in-source and hire the in-house talent to do a job. What about the pros and cons of outsource? Obviously, the biggest advantage of outsourcing is you can access the specific talent. And second thing is, agency people want to get paid, they will try to get things done much faster. Also, you can focus your in-house team to do a strategy work and outsource the technical work to the contractors and agencies. The biggest disadvantage is there's no dedicated resource to your job or to your project. Another thing is, given that is actually agencies and the contractors doing the jobs, they may not have the high caliber type of expertise in terms of your products and services. And another thing is the high turnover rate on the accounting. That's something that you have to deal with from time to time. So understanding the pros and cons on the in-house versus outsource is actually very important. The next questions I want to address is actually, what are the factors you need to take into account to determine in-house versus outsource? Well, there are a couple. Actually, there are probably three from my perspective. First one is always a headcount versus budget discussion. Do you actually have a headcount that's approved to actually hire somebody full time? Or you just really have a budget that to work with, not necessarily approved headcounts. If that's the case, chances are you probably have to hire contractors and agencies to help you out. So take into account your budget versus the headcount, especially the approved headcounts. But once you have that information, the next things that you need to look into is your marketing plans and also priorities. What are some of the key priorities you have to get accomplished for this year? If it's actually higher priorities, chances are you want somebody that you can trust or somebody that have the full competency to actually work on that, or you want to actually monitor it very closely. So take into account your marketing plans and also priorities. Another thing that you have to take into account headcount is the gap of your talent pool. In addition to looking into your marketing plan, also your priorities, and you actually have, say, the budget and the headcount to do your marketing efforts, then you probably have to look at the current talent pool. Maybe you don't have the talent pool, there's a gap to accomplish a certain initiative that you need to do. And then if you have a headcount that has been approved, you should hire a person specifically to fulfill that gap. But if you don't have a budget, you need to think it through in terms of, okay, should you hire a contractor to actually help you out? All right, so that's the second question. The third I want to address is, what should you do if you decided to outsource? From my perspective, the most important thing is you need to brief your contractors and agencies well. Using third-party resources, the contractors or the agency, they all want to do a very good job for you. They do, majority of them, right? And but they don't know your business. They don't know your plan. They don't know the inside politics. It's very important for you to actually brief them and remove barriers for them so they can do their jobs. For example, they try to get in touch with the subject matter experts, but you know what? The subject matter experts did not respond to your contractors or your agency's request. Then it's your job to actually jump in and to try to schedule the time between the subject matter expert and also the agencies and contractors so they can proceed and get things going. So when you are working with contractors and agencies, make sure you brief them well, give them all the information they need, and then remove the barriers for them. Well, thank you for watching that video, which is I recorded prior to the coronavirus pandemic. The three things or the elements I talk about still apply in the current situation. Remember, the first one is to understand your budget and headcount situation. The second one is understand your marketing plan and initiative. And the third is understand the skill set of a talent pool. In the current situation, you still need to do the same thing. Now with the headcount being impacted and the budget to be reduced, assume you are in that situation. If none of them is impacted, excellent. But if you are in that situation, you still need to look at the headcount budget, current situation, and also revise your marketing plan, right? And understand your existing talent pool to determine how you want to insource versus outsource. My point is, everything I talk about is still applied to a current situation. You need to revisit your current situation, your budget, your headcount, your plan, then determine what is the right things to do for you. So these are the three things I want to address today in terms of the in-house versus outsource. I hope you find them useful. And Quinny, thank you so much for asking the questions. I hope that I will see you next time when I'm in Hong Kong. If you like the episode, please subscribe to the channel below. I would like to feel your love. If you have any questions, again, reach out to me anytime. Pam at PamDidner.com. Thank you so much. Bye.